Ever find yourself stuck trying to like book a hotel on your phone,
Oh, yeah.
wrestling with all the filters and stuff?
All the time.
Imagine just you could just ask your phone, "Hey, find me a hotel, near the conference center, under $200 with free breakfast."
Right.
That's the kind of thing that these AI agents are trying to get at.
Yeah, they're trying to be our like a true digital assistant,
Yeah.
you know?
We've got a whole stack of research here on this new testing platform called A3,
Hmm.
which stands for Android Agent Arena.
Yeah.
It's designed to really see how well these AI agents can actually do these things.
Yeah. So like previously a lot of tests were done with like static screenshots.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like giving the agent a cheat sheet.
Yeah.
But A3 uses 21 real-world apps like YouTube Music, Yelp, and throws over 200 tasks at the agents.
Wow.
It's really trying to simulate how we actually use our phones.
So it's not just, okay, order me a pizza on
Yeah.
Grubhub or whatever.
Not at all.
It's more complicated.
The tasks range from simple actions like subscribing to a channel to complex multi-step challenges.
Okay.
So imagine asking an agent to find the cheapest day to book a flight next week and factoring in things like layovers, baggage fees.
Oh, wow.
So that's the kind of dynamic problem-solving A3 is designed to test.
So how do they know if the agent is actually succeeding?
Right.
Is it just, did they complete the task?
It's more nuanced than that.
Okay.
A3 uses two evaluation methods.
Okay.
First, there are task-specific functions.
Mm.
So think of them like a checklist for each task.
Okay.
Let's say the agent needs to book a hotel. The function checks if they selected the right dates, location, number of guests, all those details.
So it's not just did they click book now, it's
Right.
did they actually do all the
Exactly.
steps correctly
Exactly.
to get to that point?
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And the second method is really cutting edge.
Okay.
They're using large language models, or LLMs.
Mm.
So like the tech behind ChatGPT
Mm-hmm.
to automate the evaluation process.
Wait, so AI is grading other AI?
It is, yeah.
That's crazy.
And get this. These LLMs were about 80% accurate on their own without any specific training for this kind of evaluation.
Wow.
And then to kind of double check, they use a system called cross-validation, where two different LLMs evaluate the same task.
Oh, interesting.
So this helps ensure they're not just, spitting out random judgments.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see why this A3 platform is such a big deal.
Yeah.
It's really testing these agents in a way that's much closer to how we actually use our phones.
Exactly.
So what happens when they put a real AI agent to the test?
Okay, so researchers took an agent that was specifically trained for these kinds of tasks,
Okay.
and they ran it through both the static and dynamic tests.
Okay.
And this is where it gets really interesting. The agent aced the static tests,
Yeah.
where it had all the information laid out in front of it. But in A3's dynamic environment, it really struggled.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
So it's like studying for a test by just memorizing the textbook.
exactly.
And then you get there and all the questions are phrased differently and you're like,
You're lost.
I don't know what to do.
Right, the real world doesn't come with a cheat sheet.
Right.
In A3, the agent has to react to what it sees on the screen, just like a human would.
Yeah.
And without that kind of perfect action history, it got lost.
So even though this agent was trained on tons of data, it wasn't actually prepared for like the unpredictability of how we actually use our phones.
It highlights this crucial gap
Yeah.
between like theoretical AI development and practical application.
Wow.
And it wasn't just about like getting lost. The
Mm.
agent also had major problems with self-correction.
Oh.
So if it made a mistake, like clicked the wrong button,
Right.
it couldn't figure out how to get back on track.
Oh, so even AI has those moments where you're like, ooh, I wish there was an undo button.
Yeah, exactly.
This is giving me flashbacks to when I was writing an email and accidentally deleted an entire paragraph.
We've all been there. It's the worst.
It's the worst. But for these agents, it's a major hurdle.
Yeah.
They need to be able to adapt and recover from their mistakes, just like we do.
So they put this, real agent through its paces, and it stumbles a bit.
Right.
But then they decided to throw GPT-4 itself into the A3 arena.
Right.
That's like bringing in a heavyweight champion to a local boxing gym.
Right.
What happened?
It was a very interesting experiment.
Okay.
So remember, GPT-4 is a language model.
Yeah,
It's not specifically designed for interacting with apps.
right.
So, as you might expect, it had a tough time with things like precise tapping and scrolling.
I'm picturing it fumbling around the screen like someone with those giant cartoon gloves.
That's a pretty accurate visual.
Yeah.
Here's the surprise.
Okay.
It actually did pretty well on some of the information query tasks where it had to find specific details within an app. So even though it wasn't built for this, its general knowledge and understanding of language
Yeah.
kind of gave it an edge in those.
In those tasks, yeah.
So it's like having a friend who's a walking encyclopedia,
Right.
but can't operate a can opener.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense.
Right. It shows that there is this potential for using these general purpose language models
Right.
as a foundation for building more specialized AI agents.
It's like giving that encyclopedic friend a crash course in can opening.
Right.
And speaking of specialized agents, you mentioned they also tested something called App Agent.
Yes, a Pagent is essentially GPT-based, but it's enhanced with these specific capabilities for interacting with apps.
Okay.
And guess what?
What?
It performed better than both the real agent and basic GPT-4.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So the more specialized and context-aware these agents are,
Right.
the better they actually perform.
Yeah, it seems like a promising direction for
Yeah.
future development.
But let's be honest, we all love a good fail compilation. What were some of the most common errors that these agents made during testing?
Oh, there were some real head scratchers.
Okay.
Clicking at the wrong coordinates was a big one.
Like trying to tap a button and just completely missing.
Yeah, just completely whiffing it.
Ugh, frustrating.
So frustrating. Right?
I've done that enough times myself to know exactly how frustrating that is.
Yeah.
It's like your finger has a mind of its own.
Sometimes they would perform just meaningless actions.
Oh, no.
Like waiting when they should have been scrolling, or get stuck in a loop,
Oh.
repeating the same action over and over again.
Like a classic computer fail moment.
Exactly.
Yeah, like we've all been there,
Right.
stuck in a loop with a program that just won't cooperate.
Exactly.
It really highlights just how complex human-computer interaction is
Yeah.
and how much we take for granted
Yeah, we really do.
in our everyday use of technology.
Yeah.
Another funny one was typing text before selecting the input field, like trying to write an email without clicking the compose button first.
Yeah. Classic.
So these agents are making some very human-like
Right.
errors.
Very human-like.
It's almost reassuring in a way, like they're not quite ready to take over the world just yet.
Right.
But these tests have revealed some really, really interesting insights into the current state of AI agents.
Yeah.
What are some of the limitations of A3 itself, and where does this research go from here?
Well, one limitation is that the tasks are currently designed around specific app versions, and, apps are constantly being updated. So
Yeah.
it's a challenge to keep the testing environment completely up to date.
So it's like trying to hit a moving target. As soon as they've designed the test for that app,
It's outdated.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's already changed.
Right.
Right.
Another important point is the need for more nuanced evaluation methods.
Okay.
Right now, they're mostly looking at simple success rates. Did the agent complete the task or not?
Right.
But it's also important to assess how they completed the task.
Oh, yeah.
Did they understand the instructions? Were they able to adapt to unexpected situations?
So it's not just about, like, getting to the finish line.
Right.
It's about
How'd you get there?
how you get there.
Exactly.
It's kind of like judging a figure skater.
Oh.
It's not just about landing the jumps. It's about,
The artistry and technique.
yeah, the artistry, the technique.
Precisely. And that's where future research comes in.
Okay.
There's a lot of work to be done on improving agent self-correction,
Right.
helping them recover from mistakes and adapt to those dynamic elements.
Yeah.
They also need to enhance their reasoning capabilities so they can better understand and interpret the nuances of human instructions.
So we need to teach these agents to think more critically and strategically,
Yeah.
not just blindly follow
Right.
a set of pre-programmed rules.
Exactly. That's the key to developing truly intelligent and adaptable AI agents.
Yeah.
And it's not just about the technology itself.
Yeah.
We also need to consider the ethical implications of these agents.
Oh, that's interesting.
As they become more sophisticated and integrated into our lives,
Right.
we need to make sure they're aligned with our values and our goals.
It's a reminder that even though we're talking about technology,
Right.
the implications are really deeply human.
Very human.
We're essentially talking about delegating tasks and responsibilities to machines,
Yeah.
which requires careful consideration and ongoing dialogue.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And that brings us to a thought-provoking question for our listeners to ponder.
Okay.
If you could design your own AI assistant, what would be its most important feature? What tasks would you trust it to handle flawlessly?
It's a question that really invites us to imagine those possibilities and maybe even shape the future of how we interact with our devices.
Yeah, and as this field continues to evolve at such an incredible pace,
Yeah.
one thing's for certain, we're on the cusp of a truly transformative era
Yeah.
where AI is not just something we talk about,
Right?
but something we experience in our
Very.
everyday lives.
Yeah.
So stay curious, keep exploring, and who knows, maybe you'll be the one to develop the next breakthrough in AI
Right.
that
Yeah.
revolutionizes how we use our phones.
And remember, the future of AI is in our hands.
Yeah.
The choices we make today will determine how these technologies shape our world tomorrow.
Makes you think about all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes when we use our phones.
Right.
Like we're so fluent in this like language of taps and swipes,
Mm-hmm.
but we don't even realize how complex it is
Yeah.
until we see an AI trying to learn it.
It is fascinating to see like where they struggle and where they succeed.
Yeah, and it's interesting because like thinking back to those errors, like
Right.
clicking on the wrong coordinates, getting stuck in loops. It's
Yeah.
like these agents are struggling with the same things that frustrate us.
Exactly. And that's actually a really valuable insight.
Yeah.
Because by studying where these agents fail,
Uh-huh.
we can learn more about the nuances of human-computer interaction
Oh, okay.
and potentially improve the design of the apps themselves.
So it's not just about building better AI.
Right.
It's about building better technology overall.
It's a two-way street.
Yeah.
The more we understand how humans and AI interact with technology,
Mhm.
the better we can make that interaction smoother and more intuitive for everyone.
So we've talked about the real agent
Right.
and GPT-4,
Yeah.
both of which had
Yeah.
their strengths and weaknesses.
Pluses and minuses.
But you mentioned this enhanced GPT-based agent called EpAgent.
Right. So a Pagent is kind of, you can think of it as GPT with like a toolkit for navigating the digital world. It can understand natural language instructions, but it also has these specialized modules for things like identifying screen elements, predicting the effects of actions,
Wow.
and even learning from its mistakes.
So it's like giving GPT a map of the app
Yeah.
and like a set of tools to use in that world.
Exactly. No more fumbling around with the cartoon gloves.
Right. Exactly.
And the results speak for themselves.
Okay.
In the A3 tests, a Pagent consistently outperformed both the real agent and basic GPT-4 across a variety of tasks.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it sounds like a Pagent is a significant step towards developing truly capable AI assistants.
Yeah. But I imagine there are still challenges ahead.
Oh, absolutely.
What are some of the key areas that researchers are focusing on to improve these agents even further?
One of the biggest challenges is improving self-correction.
Okay.
You know, as we saw, even the most advanced agents can make mistakes.
Right.
But what separates a good agent from a great agent is the ability to recognize those mistakes, understand why they happened, and adjust their strategy accordingly.
It's that human element of
Yep.
learning from your mistakes and adapting to new situations.
It's not just about following instructions. It's about understanding the goal
Yeah.
and figuring out how to achieve it even when things don't go to plan.
Researchers are working on developing agents that can reason about their actions,
Yeah.
predict the consequences of different choices,
Mm-hmm.
and even come up with creative solutions to unexpected problems.
Exactly. It's not just about building agents that can follow instructions. It's about building agents that can, kind of think for themselves in a way.
Yeah, and that brings us to another important area of research, which is handling dynamic elements within apps.
Right.
Think about things like pop-up notifications, loading screens,
Yeah.
even just changes to the app's interface itself.
Right. Things that could throw off
Yeah.
even the most well-trained agent.
Yeah. It's like you're studying for a test.
Yeah.
And you're using one version of the textbook, and then you show up and the professor has completely rearranged all the chapters.
Like you still have all the knowledge.
Yeah, you still have the knowledge.
But you need to reorient yourself.
Yeah.
In this new structure.
And humans are really good at that.
Yeah, we are.
We can adapt to those changes on the fly,
Yeah.
often without even realizing it.
Right. It's just something we do naturally.
But for AI agents, it's a major challenge.
Yeah, big challenge.
So how are our researchers tackling this challenge of dynamic elements?
Well, they're exploring a variety of approaches,
Oh.
including training agents on data sets that specifically include these dynamic elements,
Okay.
developing algorithms that can identify and adapt to those changes in the app's interface,
Mhm.
and even using reinforcement learning techniques to reward agents for successfully navigating these unpredictable scenarios.
So there's a lot of creative problem solving
Oh, yeah.
happening in this field.
You're sure?
It's almost like researchers are playing this game of catch up
Right.
with human intuition and adaptability.
In a way, yeah, but it's a game that's pushing the boundaries of AI development
Yeah.
and leading to some really groundbreaking advancement.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
From the workings of A3 to the challenges of self-correction and dynamic elements.
Mm-hmm.
As we kind of wrap up this deep dive into AI agents,
Right.
what are some of the key takeaways you want our listeners to remember?
I think the biggest takeaway is that this field is incredibly dynamic
Mm.
and rapidly evolving.
Yeah.
What seemed like science fiction just a few years ago is quickly becoming reality.
Yeah, it's like we're watching a technological revolution
Mm-hmm.
unfold right before our eyes.
Except-
And it's not just about the technology itself, it's about the possibilities it unlocks for how we interact with the world around us.
Absolutely. AI agents have the potential to revolutionize how we use our phones,
Yeah.
how we access information, and even how we manage our daily lives.
It's a future full of potential, but also one that requires careful consideration and responsible development.
That's a really important point.
Yeah.
As we develop these, increasingly capable agents,
Mhm.
it's crucial that we do so with a focus on transparency, accountability,
Yeah.
and ensuring that these technologies are used for good.
And that brings us back to the listener.
Oh.
You're not just observing this revolution.
Mm.
You have the power to shape it.
If you could design your own AI assistant,
Yeah.
what tasks would you trust it to handle?
Yeah.
What features would be most important to you?
Yeah.
These are the questions that we all need to be asking. As we navigate this really exciting but uncharted territory.
It's a reminder that the future of AI is not predetermined.
Right.
It's something we're all actively creating
It is.
through the choices we make and the conversations we have.
That's what makes it so fascinating. It's a field full of possibilities.
Yeah.
Challenges and opportunities for us to shape the world we want to live in.
So as we wrap up this episode of the deep dive,
Okay.
we want to leave our listeners with a final thought.
Okay.
What are you most curious about when it comes to the future of AI agents?
Yeah. What questions are keeping you up at night?
We're all on this journey together, and your curiosity is what will drive innovation
For sure.
and progress.
Absolutely.
So keep exploring.
Yeah.
Keep asking questions.
Keep pushing those boundaries.
And keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Yeah, I love it.
That was a wild ride.
Yeah, it really makes you think.
I'm looking at my phone differently now. Like what could it be doing if these agents were even more advanced?
Like, what's that next leap going to be?
Yeah.
Are we going to have to, learn how to speak app to our phones?
Right.
Or will they just kind of intuit what we need based on,
Yeah.
our habits and
That's getting a little sci-fi for me.
yeah.
But I like where your head's at.
Yeah.
But seriously, this A3 platform,
Yeah,
it's like the proving ground for these agents.
it is. It really reveals, their strengths, but also their hilarious flaws.
Right. Those errors were fascinating.
Like watching a toddler learn to walk.
Yeah.
Those stumbles are all part of the process.
And by studying those stumbles, we can build better agents.
Right.
And maybe even design more user-friendly apps in the process.
Exactly. It's a reminder that AI development isn't happening in a vacuum.
Well.
It's intertwined with human behavior, with our needs, our frustrations.
So to our listener, you're a part of this too.
Yeah.
Your experiences with your phone, those are data points
Yeah.
that could shape the future of these agents.
Think about what would you want an AI agent to be able to do on your phone?
Yeah.
What tasks would make your life easier, more efficient, more enjoyable?
Those are the questions that are going to drive this field forward.
Absolutely. And we've only scratched the surface today.
Yeah.
But this deep dive has hopefully sparked your curiosity about the possibilities.
Huge thanks to you for breaking down this really complex research and making it so engaging.
Oh, well, the pleasure was all mine. It's conversations like this that really fuel innovation.
And to our listener, we'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah.
What stood out to you in this deep dive?
Yeah, what questions are still swirling around in your mind?
Keep exploring, keep questioning.
Keep pushing those boundaries.
Yeah. And who knows, maybe you'll be the one building the next generation of AI agents.
It could be you.
Until next time, keep diving deep.